Yo, you tuning into the Notion Podcast. I'm your host, Dizzy D. Spill, here with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
And you're tuning into another episode of Boss Talk. It's been a minute, but we back. Brother Jelani was having a laugh at me because I had a moment talking about 2K with Kobe on the cover, and he knew exactly what I was going to say, even though I stopped talking.
You got to catch yourself sometimes.
Yeah, bro. I'm mad.
There's a lot to be upset about as a Kobe fan.
Yeah, I'm mad because the Reverse Grinch just came out. I came out of retirement and I tried to get him on sneakers, and I immediately went back into retirement.
Said you
know that one-day contract to retire with the team you started out with? I feel like that's what happened. I came back out and I was like, yo, I'm going to get him. And they even get your hopes up because I haven't got anything off sneakers in a very long time. So they get your hopes up like, oh, scanning for information, weeding out bots, pending. Didn't get him, try again. But they didn't even hit me with the didn't get him, try again. They hit me with the there's something wrong with your card, try again. And I'm like, no, there's no way. I don't even think I could get to that point if there was something wrong with my card. There's nothing wrong with my card. I turned into a white guy for a minute. I was like, nope, there's plenty of money on there. No way. There's no way possible.
I don't deal with sneakers.
So yeah, I'm back.
Nike. I don't deal with sneakers.
Well, unfortunately, they force you to go to the sneakers app, even if you try to go to the Nike app when it comes to stuff like that. And then you go over to GOAT and see them trying to
gouge
$400 for a $190 pair of shoes that my wife could have walked into the mall and got me, 3 years ago? 4 years ago, yeah. 4 years ago, because she got me the Wisnards in 2019, year before the legendary departed. You know what I mean? So
like it was 2020. It was early in 2020.
Yeah, January 26th to be exact.
That's the date I thought, but I wasn't gonna say it just in case I was wrong. And that was like on the back of losing Huss. Like it was rough.
Yep. Yeah, it really was. We hadn't even been a year yet. Yeah, that was some ugly times, man. But yeah, man. Shout out to Kobe, R.I.P.
And Huss
for sure.
Neighborhood
Nip, man. Boss Talk, man. I feel like I'm a little intrigued, a little excited about some of the conversations that we have brewing. Because it's just, I don't know. It's just stuff that make you scratch your head, but you kind of understand, especially for people like us that, have our own businesses. So we always are going to probably look at things from a different lens than the average person. But I
don't know. Some things I've been baffled by.
Yeah?
Yeah.
From topics or just our sidebars?
Topics more than anything. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, firsthand is the Tesla recall. Like how many cars, and there's something eerie about that that I was gonna kind of go over. But for the fans listening, basically Tesla had to recall over 2 million cars, if I'm not mistaken, and possibly 2 million cars and counting, I'll say, because the auto drive or autopilot feature has created some crazy accidents. People have been losing their lives using it.
Well,
and that's controversial because if you read some of the stories that's happened.
And that's the thing about it, because it's like a lot of people have been putting their Teslas in autopilot, but you can't put it in autopilot and go to sleep. You need to be attentive. You need to be aware. You need to monitor it because it's autopilot, but it's not gonna be able to make quick decisions like in the midst of driving, because you know how things could change at a moment's turn. And then there's been like warnings and protocols go off, but if you're not attentive to the autopilot, you'll miss those. Like there was a story about a 57-year-old who like they smacked into a tractor trailer, and the I guess kind of like the black box for a car, the information came back and it was like, it was an autopilot and the warnings went off, but it was like, I guess they were ignored or, didn't acknowledge him, and he passed away, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they tried to charge the tractor driver first, then they came back and was like, and I thought that was awful too, because it's like, man, if I was in that position, I'd be a little worried. Like, I'm really finna go down for this.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad that they did their due diligence and
for sure
found out the truth. But it's like, so while it's kind of weird because there was a voluntary recall of over 350,000 Teslas earlier this year, and those were for the ones that had the full self-driving beta or something. To
Yeah,
that and then later on, there was an official recall of over 2 million cars with the self-driving autopilot. And I mean, it's kind of crazy because you feel like, I don't know if you want to put a lot of blame on Tesla or you want to put blame on the drivers. I feel like it's Tesla's fault to create the autopilot, even though that seems like a cool feature. So I guess some of the blame is on them, but I don't feel like they could be really held accountable for people not using autopilot for what it was intended for. You know what I'm saying? Or not fully operating the way that they're supposed to with it. It's like, it's almost like they're recalling the vehicles so they can take it off of there almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's like, y'all don't know how to use it, so we can't, you can't have it.
Yeah. And the thing is that, if I'm not mistaken, and you know, I'm pretty sure somebody will correct me in the comment section, but the self-driving cars that are like in the Bay Area, like the Ubers and Lyfts, they're still regulated. I don't think they get on freeways or anything like that because, you know, it's designed to be able to take you from A to B, and that's it. And you know, the local areas and regular streets tend to be a little bit more safer at times. So with that being said, is if they're not allowing these cars to like really get on the freeway like that, you know, without an actual driver, then you got to think about you getting on the freeway, putting your car in autopilot, you know, thinking that, all right, I'm gonna just sit back and just, I would be
quick nap.
Yeah, I'm like,
be last nap, the longest nap.
And I think that they kind of reorganize the purpose of stuff, because I do know that there's a certain model Tesla where you can pull over and actually go to sleep. Like you can pull up the little curtain thing to where it covers your windshield in the back of it. And it's like, notice the concept is you park and then you shut down and then you go to sleep. So if that is the intent for you to be able to sleep in your car, why do you guys feel like you can just completely leave it unattended? I wouldn't even feel comfortable, you know what I'm saying, just leaving my daily stuff unattended, thinking that it's okay. I mean, even, you know, as a kid, you know not to leave your game on all night unless it was a Sega or something, because back then we didn't have memory card.
Just
but
turn the TV off and put like a sock over the light.
Yeah. Right. So
on the last level is the boss.
Right. Yeah, I got that. Those are good reasons over 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But now, even it's not even safe to leave your computer like on all night, especially if you're like your web browser is open.
Bro, it's not safe to charge your phone at the airport. Think about that.
Right.
Like if you use like a USB to plug into something, like you mess around and get everything snatched through your phone.
Yep.
So I read the NHTSA, which is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. They found that many drivers are not taking adequate action to avoid crashes when the autopilot system is engaged and warning lights are triggered. So listen to that. When warning lights are triggered, so that means that the vehicle is aware of these type of things, but that's when you need to interact as the driver because you should be monitoring it. So that just goes to show that it's almost like the system is in trouble because people don't know how to use it.
Yeah. Operator error once again.
Horrible. But I mean, like, that's what it comes down to, is after the software update, Teslas with AutoSteer will routinely check the driver's attention level and may disengage the feature should driving conditions warrant. But I mean, like, I feel like as a machine and with the system, by the time it really has an understanding that it should be shut down, it's kind of too late.
Yep.
That's what I mean by split decisions. Like, things happen when you're driving in traffic. Think about when you got cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody, something happens 2 cars ahead, everybody slams on their brakes immediately.
Yep.
And if there's like traffic and there's not that space, you know what I'm saying, like there should be,
right, which
there really isn't the way people drive now, then things can happen. So to have autopilot engaged and not be attentive to your vehicle, it's just like, it's like having disregard for your life in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy that like it's like Tesla's under fire, like 2 million recalls. What's wrong with the vehicle? The system's messed up. Yada yada yada. But is it really the business and the system, or is it those who are utilizing the system and mistreating it?
I mean, you know how it goes. I mean, there could be. I mean, we've read about certain defects on the car in the past, but we also understand how it works. If you've shopped enough retail or worked in retail, you know somebody will bring something back the way it wasn't purchased and say there's something wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, sir, did it look like this when it left? Nah, but it's messed up now.
That's what I'm telling you. Once I got out the box, things just started to fall apart. Really? That's wild.
Exactly, man.
You're the only one with that issue, though.
That's the scary thing about running a successful business, though. You know what I'm saying? Is that you still can end up being responsible for others or the consumer being irresponsible. You know what I mean? And, you know, there's so many steps that we go through before we're able to get behind the wheel. You know, we're supposed to have a certain amount of driving. Well, the generation we come from, supposed to have a certain amount of driving hours, daytime, nighttime, and you get your permit, and then you finally get your license, and then you have to build up the experience, you know, from that point on forward. Now, it seems like with the more help that we get with assisting us with things that we have deemed safe to be able to use, we regress on being aware and being cautious.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely on the cautious part for sure. Like, it just too comfortable.
Yeah, I can agree with that. You know it's definitely too comfortable.
Once you become comfortable, you're more relaxed. You're not as attentive as you should be to certain things. So
absolutely,
yeah, a little too comfortable with technology though, which is kind of wild because I don't know. I feel like there's always a certain level of what's the word I want to use? Because like from an older generation, we're not just 100% invested in the technology. There's still a little like standoffish with it. Like,
I think we kind of are understanding where our parents come from, like the ones that just refuse to bank online. You know what I'm saying? They're like, nah, I ain't entering nothing on the computer or doing anything like that. I'm gonna just go.
What you need? They pull out a checkbook. You're like, what is that archaic relic you just unearthed from your drawer? Like, what?
The peasant pulled out a paperback relic of different scrolls of the Wells Fargo or Chase. Banks of Americans. Like, yeah, they're like, yo, they still are attached to the first world. Like, no, I don't want to do nothing online. And then the minute that they realize that they have to get online, they hitting your line. How do you do? I can't get on. I can't connect.
Kind of have trust issues.
Which is understandable. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because you do things for one way for so long.
Yeah.
And then something new comes along, and a lot of people aren't always willing to adjust. They don't do well with change. You know what I'm saying? New things are met with backlash, and you know what I'm saying? So I get it.
Yeah.
But then there's this new generation that is just fully vested.
Yeah.
In technology.
They were kind of born into it. That's all they know. Like the streaming and the online gaming and
but that's where it gets crazy, because then it's like, all right, so then the older convert to fully being dependent on technology and then take a L, because the man that I discussed in that story was 57.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's borderline Gen X.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that is.
It's kind of like, well, I'm gonna go ahead and upgrade and get with the youngsters out here and get with this new technology. I'm going here and get me a Tesla. What you mean I ain't got to drive? Is autopilot? I put this on and take me a little nap and shut. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just is. I don't know.
Well, I think that for us, because we were a very unique generation to see it happen. We seen a lot of this stuff happening before it happened, and we watched all the movies that said it was coming. When you look at movies like Terminator or The Matrix or there's another movie specific.
iRobot.
Not iRobot. Now let's keep it 100. It's just that nobody want to talk about the potential result movies like I Am Legend and stuff like that.
Will did both of those.
Yeah,
he knows something.
No, I think he does. I think he's in on it. But I know that there was a movie, and it was just kind of crazy because it ties into what we were talking about Tesla. That movie on Netflix with Julia Roberts, and I forget the brother's name. He's really talented.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But you know what I'm talking. Blade, the new Blade.
Nah, right? That ain't gonna work.
Yeah, the new Blade.
Nah, you can't do that. You got have to look up his name.
It's like Marshawn something.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's that.
It's not Lynch.
Yeah. No, we got to get him right, man. My apologies. We got to get Brad's name right. But anyways, I was watching the movie, and you can correct me when you find it. I was watching the movie, and there's a scene in the movie.
Is it Marshall Ali?
Yeah. Brother Ali. I think I'm going to just go with that. I think it's easy to do that.
I say Muhammad?
Yeah. There's a scene in that movie about some Tesla cars that it kind of made my skin crawl a little bit, like, what the hell? And it's realistic. And I'm trying to explain the scene in a way where I'm not ruining the movie for those that didn't see the movie.
I haven't seen it.
It's very slow. The movie's very slow, but I
heard there was great acting in it.
It's great acting. The movie's slow, but it's realistic slow. You know what I'm saying? You know how there's some movies where you look at the trailer and you're like, yo, it's going to be crazy. But for the setting of the movie and the scenes, I really think this is how it would be for a lot of people if they're in this position. You know what I mean? It was just some very eerie scenes that I think would feel that way. But the Tesla scene was like, yo, that could really happen. And that would be scary as hell.
Well, all right. So just for a second, I've heard stories of Teslas like cutting off in traffic while driving, people being locked in their cars, people being locked out of their cars. So I've heard these issues about, like, it's not like, they're just the perfect company and something comes up and it's like, what do you mean 2 million? Like, there's been stories, been issues because it's a car that's like almost 100%. Is it technology? Like yours not, you know what I'm saying? There's not too much mechanic aspect. You can't like take it to a Jiffy Lube, like pop the trunk. Like it's
right.
That ain't gonna work.
When we talking about flying cars, I don't even think they're gonna get that. We'll be long gone before they get those right, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh, I could just see all of the accidents now with flying cars.
I don't, and it's crazy.
I would like to be the first to Ghost Ride a flying. So look at this,
bro. The last thing I need to do is to be waiting at the airline, just hear. Yo, I'm like, yo, is that you? I know. Oh, bro, he playing Mr. Fab. He going crazy. But yeah, man, check that movie out, and you'll see what I mean for y'all that haven't seen it. But it ties into like the recall a little bit, but. It was eerie knowing that we were talking about this. We were going to talk about this and watching the movie like, yo, that's a little creepy. But
I would say they got the phones bugged, but the movie's already been
powered too. Another thing, man, that's been crazy, and I have a lot to say about it. The Facebook fraud is what I'll call it. But basically, the situation is there was a diversity executive, if I'm not mistaken, did I say that right, that worked at Facebook, and she got caught stealing. I
mean, isn't there a different word when it's that amount of money? $4 million. Ain't that embezzlement?
Yeah. That's embezzlement.
I
was being a little nice. Was I being nice? Yeah, she. That was an article. The article said stealing,
embezzlement.
Yeah, but embezzlement
or misappropriation of funds placed in one's trust or belonging to one's employer.
And my brother will make sure he gets the right term for the right crime.
Embezzlement.
Yeah, so she embezzled over $4 million from the gigantic titan of an application known as Facebook, or formerly known as Facebook, but now Meta, right?
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to get my facts right. But yeah, she's a sister, not my sister, but she is a sister of the culture, And basically, let me get her name. Let me get her name down.
I think
her name is Barbara Furlow Smiles.
That's wild, because she furloughed money is no longer smiling. That's wild.
And she was featured everywhere, bro. Like all of the black platforms was interviewing her and her husband because they had different business ventures and entrepreneurship. And there's a pattern that I want to expose about what I think is going on, but we'll get into what exactly she was doing. She had the authority at the company to create invoices, oversee invoices, and approve certain transactions.
Well, she was supposed to be investing into diverse businesses, small businesses, and creating a network.
Right. And she was actually being paid very well to do that, but I guess not enough money. I guess it wasn't enough.
Bro, living in the lap of luxury between California and Atlanta. Two very expensive places.
Exactly.
Bro, I read some of the things that she had like used the money for, like $18,000 for tuition for a preschool.
For preschool.
So that means you got kids and you operating like this? That's wild.
That is wild. And I think she even talked about in an interview that she was proud that her kid could go to this high end preschool. Spending them Zuck bucks, man. Spending them Zuck bucks.
That's wild, man. That's unbelievable. Let's see here. That's crazy.
So basically how she was embezzling this money was she had multiple friends and family involved in it, a lot of friends that had small businesses, so she would basically do the transaction through like PayPal and apps like that, pay them the money, they would give it back to her cash, and probably take a little off the top to compensate them for the transaction. So they were able to, there's always breadcrumbs when you do stuff like this.
Wait, here we go. Furlow Smiles' scheme was to link her company credit cards to PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App, then use those cards to pay others for services never performed. Friends, relatives, and associates who received the payments within returned some of the money to Furlow Smiles as a kickback. So everybody was eating.
You know what I don't understand?
She'd create inflated invoices to pay them, then those vendors would return a portion of the payment to Furlow Smiles.
So, bro, here's what I don't understand about these transactions. If you have friends who do have businesses, why not just actually conduct business and then just put the price tag on it to where the fees associated will benefit both of you guys?
So you want me to do honest, straightforward work when I see an opportunity to get over?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually okay. The reason why I think that scenarios like this are funny, right, is because I was told by somebody that has access to a database out here in California for state contracts, right? Mm-hmm. They give you a budget to complete the contract. If you're able to work your money right to where you complete that contract, what do you think happens with the residual money?
You think give it back?
Yeah, you have to give it back. No, you get to keep it. So if you just was honest from jump and you just made sure that you accommodated for the services, whatever the price that they wanted to come up with or y'all wanted to come up with, I say that with air quotes, you're actually providing a service and then you're benefiting the money off of it. But instead we're like, nah, we do shortcuts, baby. We just take it.
Strong arm the money.
Like, yo, what is wrong with y'all?
Well, a lot of shady business practices happen more than you think. The frustrating part about it is
this is actually white collar crime.
Yeah, but she didn't do it how they do it.
She got caught too early.
Well,
these guys be doing it for like a decade and then they get caught.
It's frustrating because you are of our hue. You have been put in a position to help others of that same hue and maneuver and make things happen. And instead of making positive, uplifting things happen to build a network, connect people, and allow other people to have a platform, you did the complete opposite and just abused the system, and you were only thinking of self, and now self is in jail.
Oh, not only that, but now you added to the stigma of like, see what happens when black people.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? So that's been doubled down. But what I wanted to, because I'm glad you brought the diversity and people of our hue point up, because I've been seeing a lot of news where we're in a time where there's a lot of women empowerment. And specifically the women in our culture, and they're banding together, which is great. It's not a bad thing that they're doing that. Go get yours. But I'm seeing a lot of these women that are portraying themselves as entrepreneurs, and it's ended up that they're being false. Like they're, we covered the conversation with the pink sauce lady. And, and there's been more news about her, but we'll talk about that at a later time. So you have scenarios like that where the product isn't that good. You're treating your customers like crap, and it's not what it's. So, you're not who you say you are. And now we have this sister here with the Facebook embezzlement. But I've been seeing throughout the year a lot of scenarios where these women are getting up here and they're like, yo, well, I'm an entrepreneur and this, that, and the other. We already see dudes have been doing this for forever.
But the difference is, what's crazy about it? So it's like, there's that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And because of this this movement with women empowerment and women supporting women and making things happen, a lot of these women are getting into spaces because of who they know and not what they know. And then they get into these positions, and now the position is based on what you know, and you don't know everything you need to, right?
I know people like that right now.
Or you're not everything that you portrayed yourself to be. So now that you're in this position, you're operating faulty, because in a lot of cases, it's not a position you ever should have acquired in the first place. But because you know the right people, right, and because of the movement that's going on and the things that are happening, boom, there you are. And then you fumble
hard too,
and
fumble
now
hard.
There is a stigma that affects a whole genre, a whole race, a whole category, due to you dropping a ball because you got into a position that was never really meant for you, or that you weren't cut out for. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And it's extremely frustrating, because you know how many people would have actually benefited others from being in that position.
Well,
When
I went to one of the summits, when I went to one of the local summits out here, I actually sat down with a lady that, was trying to encourage me to go to different events that were offering things for small businesses, because she said what ended up happening was when a lot of the stuff that was going on with COVID and George Floyd, you've seen all these businesses coming out saying, hey, we are going to donate $50 million. We're going to donate $100 million to diverse and black businesses and stuff like that. And so what ended up happening is a task force came together and started saying, hey, let me see your books and see what you've been doing. Well, what happened to this big plan that you told the people? And so at that time they were like, all right, we got to find some people to give some money to. Right. And so then those opportunities. Yeah, my hand is up too, by the way.
Both.
So
raise the roof.
So raise the roof and praise the Lord. But the thing is that these people are finally getting in position, and then they're just mismanaging. I know you heard about the City Girl Mayor, right? Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk about that too. But there's a lady. O'Shea's been covering this stuff. Him and Pink Book podcast lessons have been going in on this lady. I don't know her name right off rip. I watched a couple videos, but she's like the mayor of a small town. She's a sister. And yeah, right now she's in hot water because she was taking Vegas trips with the money and not putting money back into the community and things that they need. And her own staff started figuring this out because they're trying to figure out where the money is supposed to go, because they told the town, like, you will get to see on the website where all the money is going. And then they were realizing that they didn't have access to this database to be able to share that information. So yeah, she's been running it up. She's been buying SUVs, Tiffany, all of this stuff.
Henyard?
Yep, Tiffany Henyard. So
I'll get on. I will find you.
I will use my technologies to find you. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's like this pattern of women of our hue that's supposed to be giving a certain type of an example You know what I mean? And it's turning out that it's not that way. And it's not to like throw shade at because there's a lot of women that are doing great things, but I just think that now it's a lot of women that need to be careful who they do business with. A lot of these sisters that you are doing honest work, you do need to be careful who you're doing business with. Because like I said, as I'm talking, I'm thinking of more people that's been doing this. There's a real estate chick that they talked about that was doing false stuff, you know, saying that she owned, you know, 50 properties in Florida. Like, I could keep going with stories. I just don't remember names. And it's just a lot of people that represent our women. So this is a warning, sisters, really do your homework on who you're doing business with. Even if it's just attaching somebody as far as in doing some promotion with, because that could hurt you later on if they have a bad rap sheet or they had a bad reputation that you didn't know about. And it's just unfortunate because it's been a time right now for a lot of women to get they shine or get their exposure, and then you have these handfuls of women doing fraud, doing embezzlement, just faulty. And it does mess it up for the women that walk the straight path. You know what I'm saying?
Well, because now, like, you look at them side eye, and now you feel like you might have to watch them closely.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And they don't deserve that type of scrutiny because they're not doing anything out of line, out of pocket. You know, they're actually on top of things. So, yeah, you know, due to a few bad apples, a rep for all can be tarnished.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it is wild. So, I mean, it looks like justice was served as far as Mrs. Smiles.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because that's Fed time. So, yeah, you ain't finna get nothing reduced you finna do time, unfortunately.
The FBI is involved.
Yo, stop stealing them Zuck bucks, man. Y'all got to be careful. Don't mess with the Zuck bucks or the Bezos bucks, because they will find out. They have teams of lawyers and CPAs. You're not gonna get away with it. Even if you think you're getting away with it, put it back.
What about the Musk money?
The what?
The Musk money. Elon Musk.
I don't know how much money he finna have left after he do these repairs, man. I don't know, man. We might be able to get him on the show. Like, so what happened? so what happened, bro? Talk to us. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, X is going down as far as in value. You know what I'm saying?
I still like that first X album. He went crazy.
Yeah. DMX is doing great. X the app, on the other hand, we can't say the same as far as popularity. But I think we could get him on the Notion in I'd say a year.
That's wild.
I think he hits us up. I think you get a DM like, hey, bro, I need to get some kicks done, and I wanted to see about getting on the show.
I don't clean hokas. No, I'm playing. It's whatever. I clean them all.
Bro, we fixing all the cars. I gotta walk everywhere. Just work with me, dog. I gotta walk everywhere, bro. I can't be seen on a bus. But I think we can get him on the show.
Tesla truck looked like a bus. Anyways,
bro, that looked like something that came out the Batcave. That's not finished.
Got Fox in there making cars.
Straight up, man.
Collaborating with Lucius. I see you.
Yeah, he ain't slick, bro. He ain't slick. You know who's behind all the blueprints. The corporate act of 2024. I found this scenario really interesting.
Well, yeah, because how many companies you got, bro?
Quite a few, but it exposes.
Well, yeah,
they found a way to expose that loophole that so many. And this, you know what I want to say real quick. This is what happens when too many people know the same secret and they run their mouth. Because when you look at a lot of these business pages on social media and people that are giving game, they really are giving game, right? But now all that does is just put certain laws and certain things that a lot of small businesses and larger businesses were able to benefit from in a situation.
It brings it to the light because while they're giving game, everybody's not executing it the way it should be done, and not holding things down
and abusing it.
Yeah, 100%. So what he's talking about is the CTA Act. It's a Corporate Transparency Act. It's a new federal law. It will be put into play January 1st, 2024.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of wild. I'm not going to lie. Like, reading through it and reading things about it, I was just like, my brain started to overload, bro. Because there's just...
Yeah, you got to take a break.
Oh, my gosh. It's so much.
Like, if you're a person that really does pivot with all of your skills and talents, it's actually beneficial. But if you're trying to hide something, it's not beneficial at all.
Nah. Well, because then it brings a lot of shady dealings into the light.
Yep.
The CTA will impact the owners, principals, and other controlled persons involved in almost all limited liability companies, corporations, both CNS, and limited partnerships and other closely held entities. So, you know, if you have shell companies or you've been moving shady and trying to stay behind the scenes in a lot of your dealings, and like, you know, in certain instances, people might be like, you know, washing money or paying themselves, or a lot of different things have been going on, and all of that would be brought to the light with the CTA Act, because now you are required to report to the government, and if you don't, I don't even know a nice way. It's ugly. It's just you might do time. You might do some time. I don't even know any other way to put that. But basically, regardless of the, you know what I didn't see on there? I didn't see anything about soul props.
Hey.
Got him. But so basically, you have to be upfront and you have to report on any business, company, LLC that you own, and everybody who is involved. Like I said, owners, principals, other control person, everybody that's involved on a higher management level that has a part in the company, has some type of stake, has to report. And the crazy thing about it is, if everybody doesn't report, then everybody's held accountable.
Yeah, that's wild right there.
Everybody will take the L. So if there's 4 of us and only 3 of us do it, and that 4th person doesn't, we all go down because of the 4th person. Yeah, you don't want to be friends with nobody no more, huh?
And see, that can make
down the track. No,
that can make things really unattractive, like buying businesses. You know how some people will just, I'm gonna go buy this business, and now they're under the umbrella. But if you're not paying close attention to the businesses that you know, the new business acquisitions that you get, and they're over there doing misdealings, it still is going to fall on you as if you were doing it too.
Bro, they estimate 32 million entities will have to report.
So it's a good time to try to get on with the IRS thing, because they're going to need staffing. They're going to need staffing.
It's crazy, though, because like this is an article that was in the Forbes, and they're like, it's almost like they was like, yo, if you have a shell company or LLC or something to that effect that you're not operating in, that you're not ready to follow up on and report, they're like, yeah, dissolve it before 2024.
Yeah.
Dissolve it. Even one day, January 2nd, you try to dissolve it, you're going to have to
Streets is empty on New Year's Eve because they got stuff to dissolve.
It's ugly.
Yo, back the truck and trailer in, bro. We got to get rid of all of this.
And failure to file can trigger costly financial
minutes.
Penalties and jail time. Not one or the other.
Yeah, you get both. Yeah. They're generous with gifts this time. You get both. You don't have to pick one.
Yeah, that's crazy how they did it, because like they broadly defined like beneficial owners and whatnot. So control people might include officers, directors, managers of LLC, key employees, like any owners who's holding options or warrants or any other rights. Like everybody that's involved that is benefiting, profiting from the LLC, the S Corp, the C Corp, any of those entities you might have, everybody has to report. So y'all all gotta be unified in agreement.
Yep.
And a lot of people, like I said, doing the shady dealings and operating behind the scenes, they're gonna feel some type of way about that. So dissolve right now. You listening? Dissolve. After you're done watching the show, go to the laptop and start sending out emails and getting things in order to, you know.
Yo, in about like 5 or 10 years, there's going to be somebody that pulls this video up. Yeah, man, on the Notion podcast, they was trying to say this, and this is what they was talking about. Look what happened to Whoop-de-Whoop and Whoop-de-Whoop. They got mopped. You know what I'm saying? It's finna go down. But I mean, this is good information, even though a lot of y'all are not going to take it serious until it gets serious. This is good information for a lot of people that file the paperwork, because, you know, that's been a thing since the pandemic where people are like, yo, I started my business and I got an LLC and I got a sole prop. And even though those are great accomplishments, you know, because that does take time, dedication, and money to just put into that before you even make a profit. While people like to put that in their bios, they're not actually educating themselves on all of the different responsibilities you have because, and I can kind of tell because when I see people that have that in their bio or people that, you know, campaign and promote that and parade that around that, hey, I got my own business, I can tell that you probably ain't taking it serious because you don't have these in your face. You don't have gray hairs. Yeah, if I don't see any gray hairs on you, I'm starting to wonder, how are you conducting your business? Because this is extremely stressful.
You say I'm present every day.
It is stressful.
And it's crazy because it's like there's a reason why I have a sole prop and not an LLC.
Oh yeah, me too.
Doing a lot of the research, having an understanding and operating a certain way, and then also being aware of the repercussions that could happen due to bad business from operating a sole prop. Mm-hmm. I was willing to handle, take, and deal with all of that versus having an LLC, which I feel like requires 2 or more people. It shouldn't just be one person operating an LLC because if it's just one person, why not have a sole prop? Mm-hmm. But the things, the added expenses, fees, and requirements of having an LLC. Mm-hmm. And then the thing is, the higher you go up, the more that's required. So, you know, you go from LLC to C Corp to S Corp, and it gets deeper, and there's more requirements, and there's more that's needed, and there's more that has to be input. And so when people say, yeah, I got an LLC, and it's just like, so you was watching one of them goofball people on IG that was like, as soon as you get some money, go get an LLC, and now you have an LLC because you have a name, but you don't really have products or services or idea of how to
business plan.
You're lacking all of those things. Like, have you done the feasibility study? Do you know what that is? Because if you did one, you probably would know that the business you're thinking about operating, it's not feasible. So why even put yourself in a position to have an LLC where you're paying luxury taxes on something where you're not even making a profit? Because you stop. Don't do that.
We told you guys this already.
I mean, you know, just do your research, due diligence, and having a deeper understanding of things before you look to jump in. You know what I'm saying? Fee first, it will definitely help.
Yeah, relax.
Because now, say you have an LLC, and I guarantee you there's a plethora of people that, like you said, been campaigning and guiding their bio and everything that are unaware of the CTA, and they might get a slap on the wrist. At minimum, there will be penalties incurred because they are unaware of what is required moving forward in 2024. Mm-hmm. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying? Like, that's a lot more work. That is a lot more number crunching and filing paperwork and being transparent about a whole lot of things that you might not want people to see. Absolutely. And even if you do, don't mind them seeing it. Like I said, it's still a lot of work. And if you have a business and you're operating a sole prop or LLC or higher up, you already have a full plate.
Oh, yeah.
And you got some sides, you know what I'm saying? And you hoping dessert is on the way. Now there's a whole nother second course coming that you have to, you know what I'm saying? And it's a lot.
It is a lot of work.
It's a lot. And a lot of people.
And it's tough crazy. Because you have that stuff that nobody really brags about because it's hard work and it's kind of boring. And then you have, because if you have that in your ear where it's like, yo, you got to stay on top of your paperwork, your books, your fees, and all of that stuff. And then in one ear you have every guru telling you got to put out content, you got to put out content, you got to put out content, and make sure you have all of these things that you don't have. It can be stressful. That's where the gray hairs come in at, man.
Well, it's only stressful if you're listening to the wrong people and you don't have your own direction. Right? Yeah. Because if you don't have a direction and you're out here just kind of like scrambling, then of course you're going to start listening to people who look like they have it together, but their whole scheme is to look like they have it together to get the followers, to get the numbers, to be able to make a profit. So they're making a profit off of you. It's disillusionment. You think you're seeing something that's not really there and you're feeding into it, and now you're in a situation because you're listening to so-called gurus that don't really have a whole lot of proof, but they got a lot of content.
Yeah. But the thing is that a lot of people fall victim to that because they are battling with the confidence. man, I didn't make any sales this week. I didn't make any sales this month. But this person has all the answers. So let me listen to them. But you don't realize that you are the perfect person for them. You know what I'm saying? You're the perfect person for them to be talking to. And so it's like you need to really, really understand that this really is a process.
I understood that the first 3 to 4 years, the first 3 to 4 years of my business, I wasn't really going to be making a profit. Mm-hmm. It was all about investing and building everything up to make sure everything is secure and put myself in a position to be able to make a profit. But in order to do that, I have to invest in a business, time, effort, energy, finances, and build it up.
That is and stay difficult on the mental, man.
And stay consistent with everything. Yeah. And it's crazy because consistency doesn't get the praise nor the reward that it deserves.
Oh no, that's after you made it. Then people want to see it. Yeah, you were consistent and this, that, and the other. Blah,
but blah, in the midst of it,
yeah, it's no, they don't say nothing.
So, and that's the thing about it.
That's why a lot of people quit.
Yeah. A lot of people quit within the first 3 years because they're not making a profit. I mean, I know you see those people who seem to like get rich quick. It's almost they're like.
That'd be like their 4th or 5th business that they started. That's what people never tell you. It's like, yo, man, I posted this one day and it spread like wildfire, but you don't know. Before that, they was trying to sell hot sauce. And then before that, they was trying to come out with a new skateboard. And before that, they was trying to come out with their own gaming console. Got laughed out of the Comic-Con and everything else.
Rebranding. Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board. Thousands of dollars lost.
Things. Yeah. And that's the thing about it. You know what I'm saying? It's more about trial and error and gaining experience and learning how to execute versus just getting out here doing something and it just going viral. And I don't mean on social media. I mean in the business world, going viral as in people are loving it. Everybody feels like it's a service or a product that they need, right. And the sales flying through the roof. Exactly. It doesn't happen like that for everybody, but you hear those 1 in a million stories and you believe you're the next one. Mm-hmm. And so you get into this, and then when it doesn't happen how you expect it, now you want to go ahead and quit. Now understanding that it takes time.
You know what I'm saying?
Like you told me something, because I used to get frustrated. You're like, bro, we're only operating in a small section. You said 3 billion people out there that have no idea I exist yet. And so if you're not consistently working at it, moving, working to put yourself out there to get on a bigger platform and to be seen, because at the end of the day, when you look back, consistency and longevity mean a lot.
Yes.
It means a lot. It holds a lot of weight. It
builds equity.
Oh, 100%. But it isn't acknowledged, during the process. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I feel like there's a little bit of both. I feel like it's a good thing because it allows you to stay the course and stay focused. I feel like it's a bad thing because if you lack that focus, you can get discouraged.
Yep.
So, I mean, it depends on how you're built. Yeah. Everybody's not built for entrepreneurship and running businesses. It's not a cakewalk at all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's rough waters. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Smooth sailing never made a good sailor. So,
yeah, that's real talk. That is definitely real talk.
Talking to a captain.
Nah, that's real, man. I think that everything you said, it's the point right then and there. But I think that, something like this, like I said, it can be beneficial and it can be troubling. And I think the most important thing that we can all do in these times is read. And if it's a word that you don't understand, it's okay. Google's right there to explain it to you.
Man, I be running Google ragged with the definitions, and I be right a lot of times.
Yeah,
but it's still, I like to make sure I'm on.
Because business lingo, sometimes I feel like it's intentional they intentionally use that lingo to confuse you. That's why contracts are written the way they're written. That's why certain laws are written the way that they're written. And I just think that, if we just take the time to read, and I know it's difficult because social media is a distraction, but if you take the time to read and just try to comb through this information, you will feel a lot better about understanding how to operate your business.
It's only difficult if you're not serious.
Yeah.
That's how I'm gonna approach it. It's only difficult if you're not serious, because you said something about contracts in the business jargon. So I received a contract once for something that I was involved in, and I was like, let me read over it. And I read through everything, and I took a red pen and I reworded and I crossed out a lot of stuff. I changed numbers on everything, not on everything, but a lot of things. I made a lot of adjustments I made a lot of changes. And I sent it back to him. And I feel like there was a combination of amazement and frustration. Amazed that I took the time to read it and I understood what I was talking about and what they were talking about and what I wanted. A lot of frustration because I couldn't pull the wool over my eyes and get me to sign into something that ultimately wouldn't have benefited me.
I thought he was some ghetto scoundrel, and it turns out he's a lawyer.
You know, he obviously underwrites for a CPA. This mother, you know, but no. So if you're serious, you'll take the time, and and that goes for everything, bro. Not even just with reading. Like, that's why people quit in the first 3 years, because you're not serious. If you're serious, you have an understanding and you take the time. You go through the process. The process is not easy, but it's worth it as long as you don't skip any steps. Yeah. Can't be rushing. You know what I'm saying? Nothing done right is rushed.
Yeah. Now, you make a valid point, because, when I first got into music, I was just hell-bent on getting the music out. And then I got to a point where I was like, I don't like how crappy the quality is. So let me learn. And then the more I learned and the more I educated myself, the more I took the time, the more I was like, what if I had did this early in the game? You know what I'm saying? And that's really important. That's something. Yeah. And you know what? Here's my cup of game. The investment is not always money. Matter of fact, it's less than half of what you should be doing for your business. Is the investment part is the biggest investment in your business is education, educating yourself on every corner of the square you possibly can. Because when you do that, you may find ways to obtain money that doesn't have to come out of your own pocket. You might find out about grants. You might find out about certain loans that are specified for your lane. So in my opinion, if I could go back and do it again, I would have turned into the biggest nerd with all of the ventures that I'm involved with now.
Bro, how many links and things that I put you onto about grants and small businesses and small business that, bro?
Overwhelming.
I be at it.
Right.
My
nephew just asked me about, man, is there any way where I can get grants for CDLs? Yeah.
There's a whole lot of it's more about, it's not always knowing where to look, it's taking the time to look. Because sometimes you have to weed through things.
Unfortunately, because of the internet, you do have to weed through things, and that's where the patience come in.
And the reading.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like you're saying, like investing, like the time, the energy to want to read, to want to comb through, to have a better understanding and dig deep to find out what may benefit you and how you can work the system and the loopholes. Because at the end of the day, that's how you really get it. That's how you make things happen without tearing holes in your own pockets.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Real talk.
And so you got to be willing to make that type of time to invest and be consistent with the understanding, with the educating, with the putting yourself in position. Because a lot of times, this is how you put yourself in position.
That's real talk.
The knowledge that you hold, because knowledge is power. Applied knowledge is power. In order to apply that knowledge, you have to do the studying. You have to take the time to get the education and the understanding, and to then apply it, and it will put you in a position of power to maneuver and operate a certain way.
I'm gonna keep it real with you, bro. I'm living proof that everything you're saying is accurate, because when I was in school, I did bad. I was smart, but I didn't do my homework that much. I had low test scores. I was behind on a lot of stuff. And so, you know what I found myself doing in my mid-20s to now? Reading, being patient, educating myself. Now, I do understand that in school, there's a lot of stuff that is a waste of time when you grow up and you look back. But I still should have done those things back then, because what it would have taught me is a better way of being disciplined.
And that's what I was going to say. I said a lot of things that you develop while in school will help you later on in life. You feel me? As far as discipline, the study habits, the work habits, you know what I'm saying? Being attentive to certain things. A lot of that carries over as an adult.
Exactly.
And it's a little bit more difficult as an adult to apply those things and get disciplined in those, because you've operated so long without doing it.
And you have responsibilities that exist that didn't exist when you were a kid. So it makes it harder.
Consume your time.
Yeah. So now your time is just it shrinks as far as in the availability. But what you're saying is true, because I found myself going back, and I will say that education is more fun to me now as an adult because I understand the benefit of it. So I do wish that they did really find a way to entice kids that, make that part fun.
And not even just that, but it's a lot of this stuff, in a sense, it seems like now that you're more developmentally, it's easier to understand.
Yes, and retain the information.
Retain it and see where it is actually to be applied. And it makes sense now, bro. Like, I remember being in school, and even though I was in, like, geometry and all these things at a young age, I was not fond of decimals or percentages.
Yeah, they still whip my ass.
Well, I will whoop yo. Like, it all seems to make sense, and now I'm sitting here and I be looking back like, why didn't they explain it like this? Because now working percentages and decimals and all, that's easy. Like, I do my own taxes for my business.
Right.
It's like all of these numbers make so much more sense now. At first, they just look like a lot of loops and curved lines and dots and slashes. But
it's
now,
like, yo, I'm about to slash this book, cut on this Sega, because I'm not
crazy. Stop playing. What? Decimals? No, I'm just playing. I'm sorry.
Kicks, sneakers, and taxes. Holler at my boy, January 30, 2024. You feel me?
Oh man.
But yeah, man, it is true, man. You got to put in the work, and the investment is not always about the money. Nah, it really isn't. So
and that's the thing. A lot of people get tunnel vision thinking about the financial.
They get really eager and excited and motivated, and they skip a lot of hurdles.
Yeah, a lot of things you got to put yourself in position, and the money will come to you.
Yeah, real talk. So that's what we got for you, man. I would definitely say this before getting out of here. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you park your Teslas and log off of Facebook and read that Corporate Act 2024, man. So you can be good and you can be okay. All right. This is your boy Dizzy D Spiel here with my co-host in the building,
Jelani Evans.
You've been tuning into the Notion Podcast special episode Boss Talk. You already know where to find us on all the platforms. Leave your comments, likes, turn the notifications on because that helps you and it helps us so we can communicate. Until next time, peace.